Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. Today I'm going to do a video which might turn out to be a little bit controversial. It might not. It might just go by and nobody even pay attention to it. But I'm going to start off by saying that these SJWs in comics, it doesn't matter if they're in Marvel or other companies, these people who are always saying on Twitter or whatever kind of media that they can get on that we in Comicsgate don't want diversity and we're haters and we're extremists and we just want all kinds of diversity out of our comics. I'm just going to say, yeah, you know what? They're absolutely correct. They're absolutely right. They are 100% correct. And the reason why they're 100% correct is that it's something which happened to me over the last week, and I just wanted to share it with you. And let me know if anybody else has had this similar experience. Now, when I was in the height of my comic buying, which would be back in the 80s and early 90s, back then, people didn't care about any of these things. We really didn't care. It was not even that it was there and people didn't care about it. It was that it wasn't even given a first thought, let alone a second thought. The word diversity meant, the word diverse, I guess, would mean, hey, I got a lot of selection of, toothpaste to choose from at my local store. That's what would come to your mind when people said diverse. It didn't have anything to do with people. It didn't have anything to do with anything. You just picked up your comic books and you read them. I picked up a comic book. If it had a good cover, I would look through it, see if it had good art, and the art told me a story that I wanted to read. And after flipping through it, I would say, yeah, I want to buy this, or no, I didn't want to buy this. And if I did that enough times, then it would go on my pull list. And it didn't even enter into my mind, and neither did it enter into the mind of anybody else about diversity or anything else like that. But something happened to me last week. So I'm always talking about my dollar boxes because at my local comic store and at a bunch of local comic stores that I have frequented, there are dollar boxes where, almost at the front of the store, they have about 5 long boxes full of comics that they're trying to get rid of and they're just selling them for $1. And these boxes are restocked, the ones that I go to anyways, almost every week. And they put in a lot of new stuff. And I'm talking new stuff, only a couple of weeks old sometimes, a couple of months old, certainly. And most of it's Marvel stuff. And I go through them every week because they put new stuff in there every week. So I'm going through 6 boxes usually every week of comics just to see what's in there. And as I was going through them, my default always kicks in because they're bagged and boarded. So I'm not going to open them up and see what it's like inside. I do sometimes, but really I'm just going through them. I got 6 boxes to go through. I'm just going to judge them by their covers. So my default is I'm looking at the cover. It looks good. I'm only paying $1 for it. Might as well just pick it up and take it with me. But as I was going through them last week, I noticed something else happened. I was going through them and I would see a new book like US Avengers and I would think to myself, hey, I heard about that. That looks good. But then I went, no, it's got Squirrel Girl on the cover. No, I'm not touching that. And then I go through a couple more and then I go, hey, there's another Avengers book, but no, it's got Kamala Khan on the side of the cover there. I'm not touching that either. And then I'd go through a couple more and I'd see a Marvel symbol and it had, what was her name? Evangeline. And I'm thinking, when did Marvel publish Evangeline? And then I went to myself, no, it's a Marvel book with a female lead. So I'm not even paying $1 for that. I'm dropping it. And so on and so on and so on. And these are new books. These are books where I'm getting them for 3/4 to 4/5 of the price since they're $4 and $5 books. And I could just be paying $1 for them. But I won't even touch them. It's a double take because my initial reaction is, oh, that's a good looking book. But then I have to do a double take and say, yeah, no, it's got some kind of diversity character in it, either female or person of some kind of color or something. You can just tell there's a diverse character there. No, I'm dropping it. I don't want that. I'm not even going to pay 4/5 of the price for it. I'm not touching it. And that's what happened. And that's what happened time after time as I was going through the box last week. And it kind of struck me because, again, my initial default is I don't care. It's that this doesn't matter. No one even pays any attention to these things. But I got to do this double take and say no. And why? Well, I would say that because 9 times out of 10, and for my money, I would say 10 times out of 10, but I'm just being a little bit careful here. I'll say 9 times out of 10. When you have a character that is a diversity character, the story is no good. Why? Because when you say to yourself as a writer, I got to put these people in that have some diverse backgrounds. I got to put more diverse characters into this. Then your characters are not actually characters. They're just representations of ideas. And if your characters are not actually characters, they're just representations of ideas, then this is you teaching me something or preaching to me. This is not entertainment, and I'm here to be entertained. So it's not a good product. It's automatically a bad story if you're putting this diversity garbage into my books. So I don't want it. I don't want it at all. And I'm going to drop anything that even remotely smells of it. Just not going to. And it made me think of something funny. There was this joke, and it was a joke that was published, I think, if my memory is correct, it was probably in the Marvel swimsuit issue that came out early 90s. And it was a picture of Captain America's, basically his head and shoulders, and he was in civilian clothes. So basically you just got the head of this guy. It was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. And underneath that panel, it said Captain America. And then there was 3 more panels. And the second panel was the exact same picture. And underneath that, it said Ant-Man. And then the third panel had the exact same picture, and underneath that it said Hawkeye. And then it had the exact same panel, and underneath that it said Thor. And then the joke underneath was, the Aryan race is alive and well and makes up the core of the Avengers. Now, first of all, could you even imagine somebody at Marvel putting this into any kind of Marvel book, even trying to think to put it into a Marvel book today, even as a joke? Oh, they'd be tossed out on their ears so quickly their head would spin. But it was a joke. Why was it a joke? Well, because the joke was, hey, look, I can draw the exact same person for 4 different characters and no one would even notice. That was the joke. But you know what? That's what the future of comic books looks like. It's going to be your blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. That's what the future of comic books are going to look like. Because this diversity stuff, it has gone so far to the extreme that nobody is going to want it anymore. Nobody. Because I'm this person who went originally to comics and had no inkling of this, because I went through when I'm in the 80s and the 90s. Look, you got the X-Men led by Storm, and she's leading an X-Men group that's mostly women. Nobody even cared. No one even, it never even entered into your mind that this was something special or unique or anything else. Didn't even enter into your mind. It was just there. No one cared. And even me, whose default is it doesn't matter, I don't even think about these things, is now doing a double take and dropping diversity stuff. Can you imagine the people who are young now, or people who are just getting into comics now? Can you imagine that when that becomes their default, what the future of comics is going to look like? It's going to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. It's going to be everybody is Captain America. That's what the future looks like. That's what the future looks like. And you know what? Besides the fact that I think those people are absolutely right, those SJWs are absolutely right, we don't want diversity, they also say we're haters and extremists. They're absolutely right on that as well. I hate bad stories. I hate people trying to corrupt things. I hate it. I'm not going to stand by. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I hate it. I hate corruption of things. Pure and simple. Yep, you want to call me a hater because I hate that? Go right ahead. You want to call me an extremist? Well, you'll probably call me an extremist after I say the next thing, because I'm going to hear and tell you right here and now that, you know what? We need to get rid of these people. Anybody who wants to put diversity in their books, we got to get rid of them. Like, absolutely get rid of them. It's no, we'll let them stay in the corner if they start playing nicely. No, you got to get rid of them. Because these people don't play nicely. They don't. Because you got these far left extremists, and they're basically control freaks. So they got one of two modes only. And it comes from their, again, socialist, communist kind of mentality and philosophy that's sitting in the back of their head. It's, I'm in control of this thing, and if I start to lose control of this thing, then I'm going to throw a tantrum and destroy it. So either way, I'm in control. I'm either the one who's directing it, or I'm going to tear it down and destroy it so no one else can use it. That's their only two modes. They don't have a third mode. That's their only mode. So you can't let them stay in comics anymore, because their mode is they're either going to start to corrupt it again, or they're going to try to tear it down and tear down everyone else around them, so that you can't have what we all want to go back to, which is no one cares. No one's even thinking about this. It's just the way, it's just a story. It's a reflection of life. And sure, it can be a reflection of a diverse thing, but no one's even going to enter, that's not even going to enter into their minds. So yeah, we have to be extremist, and we have to get rid of these people. And here's the thing though. How do we get rid of these things? Well, I think that the way that you get rid of them is by ignoring these people. And not letting them have their way, but ignoring them in a very specific way. I'm sure none of you people who are listening to me actually know me in real life. But in real life, I'm just known by all of my friends for the ability to tick people off. And one of the great ways of doing it, one of the great ways of taking a person and getting rid of them, is by ignoring them in a very special way. It's by patting them on the head and going, there. That's okay. You'll grow up someday and have some real adult thoughts. That's what you do. Because if you rail against them, they think that they have some control over you because they're making you rail. If you fight against them, they're going to use that as a justification that they're actually right. But if you pat them on the head and go, okay, it's all right. You'll be a grown-up someday. That's okay. They just get enraged. They get enraged, and then they throw a major tantrum, which just destroys themselves. So basically, you give them enough rope to hang themselves with. And that's the only way that we're going to get rid of these people. You got to give them enough rope to hang themselves with. So, again, we need to ignore them, but ignore them in a very specific way. We need to show them that they're irrelevant and that they're just idiotic, and not actually let them get under your skin in any way. Anyway, I'm trying to do shorter videos, and I did have more to say, but it's already gone on to almost 12 minutes now, so I'll stop here and let me know what you think. Has anybody else had this similar experience? Anyone else had these similar thoughts? Anyone else in Comicsgate, or even just a normal viewer who is just out there and run across my video? Let me know. Leave a comment. And if you found this video at all entertaining or informative, which I'm not sure why anyone would, but it's just me ranting, hit like, hit subscribe, and go over to my Twitter if you want to retweet it. All you got to do is see it on my Twitter and hit retweet, and it's really simple and easy. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.